Hong Kong hosts more than 7 million inhabitants, with people of Chinese descent making up the vast majority of the population. Other nationalities that reside there include Philippines, Indonesia, and India, that only make up about 8% of the population. Hong Kong sits on the southern edge of China, near the Pearl River and South China Sea, and about 420 square miles, which is roughly 6 times more than Washington, D.C. It comprises of Hong Kong Island, Lantau Island, the Kowloon Peninsula, and the New Territories, including about 262 other islands. Between Hong Kong Island and Kowloon Peninsula is one of the world's best deep-water harbors called the Victoria Harbor. And like all beginnings, there's always motivation. Although there are many reasons behind the whole colonization of Hong Kong, one of the main causes towards Hong Kong's colonization was opium. Opium is the dried latex obtained from the opium poppy. Opium latex contains approximately 12% of the analgesic alkaloid morphine, which is processed chemically to produce heroin. It was supposed to be used for medicinal purposes but was abused. The Chinese government were alarmed at the rate of drug overdose and how it was affecting their people, so they stopped all trade with Britain. They were like, but British were like, and started smuggling it into China. Chinese found out and were like, war! Also known as the Opium War, it took 3 years, 5 months, 1 week, and 4 days. Chinese lost, Britain won, and demanded control of Hong Kong. This all happened in the year of 1842. The Treaty of Nanking, also known as the Treaty of Peace, was passed between the Chinese government and Britain to still bring good standing between them. There was an alarming rate of labor unfairness even before the British took over. Before British involvement, Hong Kong was ruled under authoritative government and most power was held by a small community of businessmen and industrialists. A new generation of Hong Kong residents didn't appreciate the way the colonial government was dealing with their economy because they believed the government wasn't focusing on the more important issues affecting the people. The disparity between the rich and the poor. Working conditions were terrible for these workers. They were worked tirelessly with little pay. This fight for equality became a cultural revolution. At a Hong Kong artificial flower factory in May of 1967, police were called to subdue a peaceful march by workers who initiated a strike because they were suffering from labor injustice. This didn't go well because the police were involved. This led to large-scale disputes, such as the riot of 1967, which saw these leftists attacking police and even the Chinese militaria. They did this by planting bombs and attacking those who opposed their violence. Police retaliated by shooting at the masses. Around 100 buildings were vandalized and civilian lives were taken, as well as those of children's. Although there have been other riots, the fight for equality started in 1967 and took over a year for the British authorities to take it seriously. This action, along with countless other wars and riots that took place in China, helped loosen British control over Hong Kong and gave it back to China, who in turn couldn't have full control of it because Hong Kong became a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China. This meant that even though Hong Kong resides in China, it won't be controlled as a Chinese component, as under the one China, two systems it could keep its capitalist economy and political beliefs. This was implemented until 1997, when China took Hong Kong back, but some of the laws still resided, and Hong Kong is still able to keep most of its laws for 50 years, that is, until the year 2047. Hong Kong became heavily influenced with Western culture and has become the center for international trade and finance for China.